welcome to the second review of the evening. And greetings to those who might be listening to the first time. Anyway, up this time is Checkered Flag. Admittedly, this is not exactly what was going to go here until yesterday, but Petty didn't feel like doing a horror game.
Yeah, I got shit going on that you'll probably find out about on Wednesday.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so Checkered Flag here. In this high-speed racing game, originally released in 1991 for the Atari Lynx handheld console, experience the excitement of Formula-style open-wheel racing across 18 unique tracks. And you will be able to relive these days in this remastered emulation version. So, this was...
In other news, I've just been reminded that the Atari Lynx existed.
Yes. You might not... this wasn't provided by, so that's why... but this is another Pixel Games UK release, which has been releasing a lot of games from Epix, EPYX, who is well known for like the California games, winter games, games from back in the day, among other things. And apparently this was one of theirs, even though like a lot of online listings have this registered to being from Atari. Then again, the Atari Lynx was actually from Epix themselves. But I suppose enough of the history lessons. Petty, how did this game turn out? At least how did the emulation turn out?
Emulation seems fine, though some of the pixels are big enough you could probably cut your eye on them.
I mean...
Yeah, it's a handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is an Atari Lynx game that's been blown up to, I can't even say standard resolutions, maybe even high resolutions. Or, this isn't the pixel count you're supposed to be seeing it at.
Yeah.
The resolution on the Atari Lynx's screen was 160 by 102.
Yeah, so of course it's going to look very chunky if you have it on a computer monitor.
Yeah, I mean, though, I didn't see any, like, smoothing options if you're into that.
It would probably wreck it.
Yeah, from what I've seen from Pixel Games UK's emulation offerings, they don't really have the filters.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not convinced that you could actually smooth this game and have it not come out non-functional. There are so many things that are only, like, 1 pixel.
Fair enough.
Like the road edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the tires.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, so emulation seems fine.
Was that an Atari logo on that sign?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
As I said, this was originally released for the Atari Lynx in 19...
I know. I wasn't sure if that's what it was. It went by fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call this their answer to Pole Position, or rather their replacement, because Atari did the initial arcade distribution of Pole Position and handled a few home releases as well. Like, I'm sure when people were tuning in, they weren't expecting to learn a lot of Atari history today. But, that's the magic of this show.
So this actually looks pretty good considering,
Yeah.
everything. The gameplay looks a little bit bare, though.
Oh, yeah, it is very bare. Like, right now I'm just doing practice races. But, like...
Oh, okay, so there are other modes.
Yes.
Yeah.
With other opponents, apparently, presumably.
Okay. Yes.
So, there's kind of 2 levels you can review this at. There's the modern-day perspective, certainly. But there's also... And I know there are people who differ on this. It's, you got to put yourself in the mindsets.
Back in ye olden times.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so it's a question of how do you grade this game? Like, okay, do you grade it on what it is today or what it was in 1991? It's always one of the things we have to face when we do a review of an old game, which
I mean, ultimately, the standard I usually come back to is what it was back then worth experiencing today?
right.
Oh God.
But yeah, but it's like, here's the question I posed to Petty Fan: does this game play well?
It plays all right. Like,
Okay.
it definitely helps using a modern analog controller. It seems to be, updated to really use that. I imagine trying to play this with, original Atari Lynx controls would drive you to madness.
It's possible.
Maybe.
I'm like, I don't know. It probably worked.
I mean, you really
decently.
only have left, right, and go or slow down a little, right?
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah, it's like I'm not like this isn't a 3D racer where not just like an analog stick, but analog triggers are preferable.
Yeah, I think they just treat the analog triggers as button triggers.
Yeah.
Because,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, at least for the Xbox setup, it is A to go forward, right trigger to brake. You can change direction with the right stick. Um,
So, in terms of actual race mode, what's on tap here?
there is a Grand Prix mode,
Uh-huh.
practice mode, a hot lap mode, which is kind of like time trial qualifying type thing. And I think that's it. It's all racing.
Well, yeah, it's a racing game,
Yeah.
so I'll you know what? I'll say for a 1991 Lynx game, that's fairly robust.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you see any sort of multiplayer components?
I did not, but if I remember, some Lynx games only show their multiplayer component when they were connected.
And this is being officially emulated, so
Yeah.
I don't expect it to have network options. Let's
Yeah.
just say.
Once again, yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I'm not expecting that.
I will say a kind of a cool feature is they have your rear view mirrors down at the bottom, and they
Mm-hmm.
look to be somewhat accurate.
Once again, yeah. Once again, I'm actually rather impressed with this game.
In the capacity of it being an Atari Lynx game blown up to PC size.
in its original capacity.
Especially if I believe the copyright date on this is 91.
Yes.
It's definitely the best racing game you're going to get for your Atari Lynx. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it might actually be. I don't know how many racing games.
I don't know anything about the Atari Lynx catalog. I was semi-joking
Fair.
about not literally remembering it existed, since I was going to make a joke about it when we were talking about the Atari 50.
5200. Oh, sorry.
Or 500. Sorry.
No,
whatever.
Yeah,
the Atari 50, the anniversary thing we're talking about.
Right. I got mixed with the console, the 5200. Yeah.
I guess one thing I'm not a big fan of, at least with this version, is I can't quit out of the race mode thing. I guess they're just kind of assuming I'd turn off the console.
Or reset it, yes, which I think there is a menu option for.
I did not see one. No, there's just quit game.
That would do it.
Yeah, and I'm seeing on the Wikipedia page that this game did originally have multiplayer, up to 6 players via the comlinks.
Yep.
I assume that is spelled the punny way.
Of course.
Not
COM, possibly another MLYNX.
No, just COMLYNX.
Yeah, that's what I said, as opposed to COMLINKS.
Yeah. The comlinks. Comlink.
Get it? Because they're funny.
It's a brand named Link Cable because not everyone has the balls that Nintendo does to just say, yes, I'm going to call it the Game Link Cable.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a cable that links games, yes.
Yeah. But that kind of multiplayer session probably didn't happen all that often.
Probably not.
Considering there's a scaling number of people with Link devices you start needing, it tends to cap out fairly early unless you have a large friend group with all interested in the same thing.
Yeah, it's not just all that, but you needed a copy of the game as well. Remember,
right.
This is well before download play. There's a reason why the mythical 16-player Faceball 2000 mode hasn't been done yet.
Well, at least physically, I imagine people probably got it, NetPlay emulated or something like that.
Yeah, but physical is the goal here. But anyway, so with all that in mind, how would you judge this in for $3.99?
I guess it depends what you're wanting. Like, if you want a real simple racer, here you go. If you want something with a little more substance, then obviously look elsewhere.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, because I'm like, okay, you put this game in its original context, and this is probably one of the best in the system. I can't accurately judge that because, a lot of my Atari Lynx knowledge is Here There Be Dragons. It's just not a slice of gaming history I know all that well. And Retronauts hasn't really delved into the Lynx all that much yet. So, at least, not on the Work series. But, you buy this for $4 on Steam, you're probably going to get about 15 minutes of enjoyment. Yeah. And anything else to say?
Not really. It's an okay game, but there are definitely a lot better options.
All right then. So I think that'll about do it for Checkered Flag. So be sure to tune in after the break, as the Galax will be reviewing Future Night.